Alright, so now that we know how to take out the flywheels, let's look at how to take out the motors. So first thing you're going to do is once again disassemble the blaster. Now, if you haven't done so already, you'll want to follow my guide for removing the flywheel cage and taking off the flywheels. Okay, so now that we have the wheels off and the cage open, we have access to the motors. First thing we're going to do is pull gently on the rubber straps to take them off. And then on soft padded surface, you're going to take these two posts and gently but steadily press down, and the motors will pop right out. Now, there's two methods to removing the motors from each other. You can obviously, if you're going to replace the motors, just throw this whole assembly away, or you can come in with your wire cutters and very delicately slice there. Or if you hear people talk about desoldering, you get a hot solder iron, hold it against the solder joint, and it'll fall apart. For this one, I'm simply going to pull them apart like that, throw them away. Okay. The next thing you have to do when changing motors is the stock motors will go in here, but there are little ribs that hold the motor in place. Aftermarket motors will not fit in with those ribs in place. It's very easily dealt with though. You take a Dremel, otherwise known as a rotary tool. The rotary tool I use is a Chicago Electric. It's very loud, so I'm going to mute out while I'm doing this, but I'm going to take the utility bit. You can also use a sanding drum if you don't have the utility bit. However, the sanding drum will create a little more heat and it's larger, and sometimes it'll melt and deform the plastic. I like to use the utility bit and just gently go over those ribs to make sure that they're no longer there. Alright, now once we have those ribs out, what we're going to do is take a small flat tip and just kind of chisel our way down to make sure we knock off any loose plastic. You don't want that plastic getting into your motors, into the armature, into the winding. You don't want it to bind up anywhere. You want to get as much of that extra plastic out as possible. Now, once we do that and clean up our work area a little, we'll take our new motors and test fit them. Here I got a couple Michelle 2.0s, so they're still the small form factor motor. They should fit in fine without any modification. Now, when lighting up your motors, aftermarket motors will have a red dot on one of the posts and nothing on the other post. So you line it up, you test fit it in, push through, and you want to make sure that this bearing comes up and seats in this hole nice and pretty. Now on your second motor, you're going to find that red dot and make sure it's on the opposite side. So red dot on this side, red dot on this side. Once again, we're going to seat it down, make sure that it lines up, and we've successfully installed our motors. Now to finish this up, we're just going to go ahead and press on our flywheels. Holding gently on the back of the motor while we press on it.
Here we go.
And then once again, we will seal up this cage. Click in the tabs. Posts come through just fine. Everything's lined up. We'll take our blaster. Test fit it into here. Now for this one I will have to pull out the front tow barrel line it up and install it all as one unit. And you want to check when you're installing that the little tabs on the back side of the motors have enough clearance so that they're not bent. And I can look barely in here and see that they're just fine. You obviously would want to wire them. We'll get to that in a later video. Put on the top blaster half and close her up, seal her up, and you have successfully changed the motors in your blaster.